Martinique is a verdant Caribbean island, known for exporting bananas and welcoming tourists seeking a tropical paradise. But for locals, it's a different, more complex story. More than a quarter of residents in the French territory are poor, twice the rate of in mainland France. And a trip to the supermarket offers a snapshot of their struggles. Let's start with something as basic as water. Christelle Marie-Sant is buying it in bottles because the water in the tap at home is yellow tinted. But she balks at the price she has to pay.
Des packs d'eau parce que mon mari est à l'hôpital, donc je lui ramenais de l'eau. Et on prend que le strict nécessaire en fait dans les grandes surfaces parce que c'est trop cher.
Some residents accept these higher prices, crediting French government subsidies, saying they help to raise living standards. But official data shows that prices for food products there are on average 40% higher than here in mainland France. Now, it makes sense that if you live on a small, faraway island, you might pay more for products brought from across the ocean. But that alone doesn't explain the gap. And in Martinique, there is something deeply intertwined with questions of race and class and the territory's colonial past. Like many Caribbean islands, enslaved people were brought here to work on plantations from the 17th to the 19th century, and the descendants of the white enslaver families, locally known as Béké, who make up just 1% of the population, still control swathes of the economy. The largest commercial groups in the supermarket sector are accused of anti-competitive practices that contribute to the high prices. The mistrust of Maine's water in Martinique is compounded by the island's history with a toxic pesticide used on banana plantations until 1993, called chlordecone. And the businessman who imported the pesticide was also from a Béké family. The French government has concluded that chlordecone seeped into the soil and food there, contaminating nearly the entire population, and has said that it is linked to the risk of developing prostate cancer. An official from the French Geological Survey in Martinique acknowledged this mistrust. He said that tap water is drinkable, but there are problems with water outages due to leaky infrastructure, and that the discoloured water is due to old piping and a lack of maintenance. The water story doesn't end there, though. Though Le Fort is one of the cheaper water brands on the island, it costs double an equivalent product in supermarkets around Paris. And it is locally bottled by a firm owned by another descendant of a 19th century enslaver. And the largest group in the supermarket sector, a conglomerate called GBH, is also owned by a family with ancestors that owned enslaved people. The group published its annual accounts for the first time this year after a lawsuit by activists.
C'est plus l'État que voilà, c'est la faute à l'État, hein, c'est je sais pas. Je vois pas qui d'autre. L'État, il y a les béquets aussi, hein, mais bon, voilà, c'est qui si les béquets ils ont pris cette thèse là, c'est qui leur a donné, c'est bien l'État, non?
A director of GBH told Reuters the firm was in an extremely intense competitive environment, and that the company published its accounts because times had changed and there was pressure for transparency. He said that reparations for slavery should be symbolic. The French Overseas Ministry referred us to its minister's recent visit to Martinique, where he called on businesses to be more transparent about their profits, and he committed to bring in a law to fight anti-competitive practices. The Élysée did not answer our request for comment, but a local official did. Serge Letchmy leads Martinique's regional government. He told Reuters he's planning to introduce a bill that would support local farmers, give the island more decision-making power, and seek to centralize water management to lower prices and encourage investment.
Donc si on gagne ce pari-là, on pourra revoir le modèle post-colonial qui demeure et inscrire le développement dans la capacité que nous avons à innover. Et il faut aussi que la France accepte d'arrêter de tutéliser à partir de Paris et laisser les pays d'outre-mer se développer en toute harmonie avec la diplomatie territoriale extérieure.
Activists say more is needed. Last year there were protests and unrest over high prices. The protest movement is winning some concessions from Paris, with a recent promise of legislation to tackle the high cost of living and anti-competitive practices by large businesses. Now activists say that they're planning fresh demonstrations. Mario Briand is part of a group called Gathering for the Protection of Afro-Caribbean People and Resources.
Si on vous adressait ces prix-là en France hexagonale, vous serez outrés, vous serez écœurés. Et tout de suite, je pense que vous serez bien nombreux à descendre dans les rues et à se dire qu'est-ce qui se passe, c'est quoi ce bordel. Sauf que l'on a eu 1000 km et on se retrouve à souffrir en silence.